Our first task is to create a shaped card blank. So I've just covered this card blank with sticky roll on the front, and I've made 2 little marks on our die. And then what we're going to do is run it through the die cutting machine with a slight gap where the spine's going to be, so we can still keep our fold. And then we're going to create the front of our card using the same die, but we're going to go just a little bit beyond the guide marks, so we've got a little bit of room to play with when we're putting it down onto our card blank. So I'm going to go ahead and run those through the die cutting machine. So now we need to move on to die cutting our sentiment and our reindeer. So I've already cut the right size of mirror card for our sentiment, and I've covered the back with sticky roll, so we can pop that to one side. But we're going to do something a little bit different with our reindeer. We want to fully cover the front of the die cut with sticky roll so that we can apply our glitter on our flock. But on the other side, on the back, we only want to cover the bottom half with sticky roll because his antlers have a lovely dimension to them. So the first thing we're going to do is place the die cut face down onto our card and just draw a little line in pencil to around about where we want the sticky roll to end. So his antlers won't be covered in sticky roll, but his body will. Now if we really wanted to go for it, we could cut it there and there, but we're going to simplify this today. So take a sticky roll, and then using the guide, we're just going to place it down straight onto the sticky roll. There. And cut around. And then cover the entire front and cut around again. As always, give it a good burnish. And then using the pencil line as a guide, we can cut these out. So now we've cut these out, we can remove our reindeer and apply our glitter and flock. But our reindeer, we want to apply our flock and our glitter. So the first thing we're going to do is remove the part of the liner which covers the body. So to do this, we just need to cut through the liner just below his antlers. Now there's no magic pressure here, just don't cut all the way through the die cut. And then using your knife, just lift up the liner and remove it from the body. So first we're going to apply our flock. So just pop down a sheet of paper and we take our sieve and we simply sprinkle it all over the area. Go ahead and put loads on and then just press down with your fingers and then start rubbing in circles and building up the amount of flock that you want. Now usually with darker colours it's advisable to use a similar coloured cardstock, but with burnt henna it's not so bad using it on white card. And just keep going. And if you have any little patches that you've missed, just go back over, press and rub. And then just give it a bit of a flick, just to get rid of any excess. And just see if you've missed any bits. There go. I just want to put a bit more on there. And just keep going until you're happy. So I'll pop that back in the pot in a moment. There you see, got a nice furry reindeer. And now we're going to add our glitter. So if we just take our knife again and just lift the liner up where we made the cut. Use tweezers if it's easier. And then slowly peel away the liner. There we go. And again, using some scrap paper, we just pour a nice amount of glitter straight onto the antlers. Now, if you give it a good press all over the area, and then just rub the glitter in, and that should cover the sticky roll nicely. Just keep pressing and rubbing. And if you do miss any bits, don't worry, because it will be very apparent when you lift the shape away. So you just give it a good tap. And then brush. And if you have missed any bits, just go back in, tap and rub. I think we've done this quite well here. So again, we'll pop that back in the pot. Just give that a good flick and a good brush, and that should get rid of any excess glitter. And there we have our beautiful reindeer. Now we can move on to our background, and the first thing we need to do is create snowflake masks using your favourite snowflake dies, stampers roll and release paper. So we place the shiny side of the release paper down onto the stampers roll and just cut around it using scissors or a craft knife. If you don't have any release paper, then use scrap pieces of the liner from your sticky roll. And if you don't have a nice large die like this, you can use smaller ones, just cut multiple times. So I'm just going to run that through my die cutting machine, and then we'll take the pieces out. So now we just need to pop all the pieces out, and we'll be ready to place them down onto our background. So these are the stampers roll masks that we've cut out, and this is the part of the release paper that's cut out at the same time. So don't throw these away, because we can use those on a sticky roll project. So we'll just pop those to one side, and we're going to start applying our masks to our card base. So if we use our reindeer as a guide as to where we want the snowflakes to go, just remembering that we left a small gap at the bottom for when we're trimming off the excess when we place it down on the card blank. So we're going to try and be as random as possible, which is definitely easier said than done. And I tend to do the larger ones first, and then pop all the smaller ones in around. So just gentle pressure, because what we'll do is we'll get our stampers roll to use like a rolling pin, just to make sure everything's firmly in place for when we go over them with the blending brush. So just take our stampers roll and go over the top. And now we're going to add our ink. So we're going to start by picking the ink up on our brush. Now when I'm doing snowy scenes like this, I like to start darker at the top and then fade down. So it looks like our reindeer's looking up at a nice snowy sky. So we're not covering the entire card in the same colour, but it's going to gradually fade as we go down. Right, so I'm quite happy with the amount of ink I've got on there. So now all we have to do is take away our masks. So if you just put these to one side, you can use these again. As you can see, they've come out absolutely beautifully. It's such a lovely effect. It's so simple. But it looks fabulous. So now we can add our front to our card base. So simply remove the liner from the sticky roll that you popped on the front. And then we can line up card blank with the front. And then trim off the excess at the bottom. I always find it easier to pop the front down onto the card blank before we start applying our embellishments and sentiments. So here we have our Miri card sentiment that we cut out before. So we'll just do our gems first. Just put a little bit of glue down in each spot. Get a few out first, that probably helps. So I'm just using some nice 3mm and 2mm gems. And now we can peel off the backing from our reindeer. Know that he's going to be firmly stuck down. There he is. Just move a little bit. You see, we've still kept the dimension of those lovely antlers. Then we can remove the liner from the back of the sentiment. I will put Christmas down first so that I know we're not going to run out of room. There you are, just line Christmas up. So because we're using the sticky roll, there's no messy splodges coming out the side. And we have Mary to place down. There. And there we have our beautiful reindeer looking up at a snowy sky.